Well, Jesus, in our scripture, which Barbara read this morning, exhorts us to let our light shine. Let it shine before others. And so for the sermon, I have done a little research on light. I'd like to share that with you this morning. So here it goes. How many jugglers does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but it takes 3 bulbs. And how many policemen does it take to change? Some are getting it just now. That's good. Remember, this is after much research, so it may take a while for it to sink in. How many policemen does it take to change a light bulb? None. It turned itself in. And how many mystery writers does it take to change a light bulb? 2. One to screw it almost all the way in, and then another to come in and give it a surprising twist. Laugh, groan, if you will. Perhaps that seems a little less scientific than you were hoping the research would be. So how about this in addition? According to a University of California study, a singular photon, now you may not know it, but light is both a particle and a wave. A particle of light is called a photon. One singular photon, a particle of light, cannot be seen by the human eye. In order for light to be seen by the human eye, it takes 5 to 9 photons hitting our retina in quick succession before we can see that flicker, that point of light. Therefore, every time we see light, no matter how tiny it is, in fact, we are seeing a whole community of photons. A small group of photons. And that is so appropriate. So how many people does it take, I ask, to fulfill Jesus' exhortation? To shine God's light into this world? Well, like photons, to shine our brightest, we must shine within community. We shine best when we are in a group together. For example, those light bulbs, no matter how they're changed in the jokes I just gave, they only shine because they are connected to an electrical circuit. Unconnected, they do not shine. The light of a flashlight only shines when they are connected to batteries. The light of the candles here on the altar, they only shine because the flame is connected to the wick and to the wax. The very light of day outside these windows is a product of a relationship. 2 hydrogen protons colliding, connecting, fusing together creates helium. And in that nuclear relationship and reaction, tremendous amounts of heat and light are created. And so it is as well that our light, God's own light, shining through us, shines only when we are connected in community. Connected in community to one another and to God. That is the blessing. And that is, of course, also the challenge. It is a blessing because whenever we feel overwhelmed by life, whenever we feel weary and heavy laden, when the hardships, when the losses of life are too much for us to bear, when they cause the light within us, within our soul, to falter, to wane, or they make the light of God seem dimly the distance, we can recover that ember. We can fan it into a bright flame, and we can do so by reconnecting ourselves within the light and love of others. We can by plugging ourselves into the flow, the energy, the blessing that lies within a community, especially a faith community. And that is exactly what Jesus did in the scripture we read this morning. Jesus is just about to enter into a time of trial and tribulation. From that mountaintop that he took James and Peter to, Jesus travels from there to Jerusalem, from there to his death. And so he has a heavy heart as he climbs that mountain. What Jesus needs to face that hardship to come is the spiritual assistance. He needs the lifting light that he finds in the presence of Elijah and Moses. For in their presence, in their community, Jesus finds the support that he needs to face the future. The same is true of us. We need the light of others to surround us, to carry us, to lift us through difficult times. That is why we shine best and most profoundly when we are supported and connected in community to the love, to the light, to the blessings of others. And therein also lies the challenge. For living in community, well, that is difficult. For in community, the truth is, we will let each other down. In community, we will fail one another sooner or later. We'll hurt one another. Therefore, without a willingness to self-reflect on how our behavior affects others, without a willingness, without an ability to share forgiveness, there can be no community. There can be no light. In community, there will be different opinions, different priorities, different hopes. Without the ability to yield our own will to the will of the whole, to the betterment of the whole, there can be no community. And there can be no light. A gathering of people, a group of people, does not a community make. A gathering of people at odds with one another, or in whom there is a spirit of animosity, or in whom there is a desire to find advantage one over the other, that's not a community. Such a gathering as that cannot shine divine light on others. What transfigures, what transforms a gathering of people into a blessed community is a sense within them and between them of cooperation and common purpose. What connects them is a spirit of sacrifice, a spirit of compromise and patience and forbearance. These are the spiritual attributes that connect us to one another and to God. These spiritual attributes are the wires, the conduits through which God's energy and spirit flows into us and through us out into the world. It is how light shines. And so I ask you this morning, do you want the power and the light and the love of God to glow within you, to grow within you? Do you want deep inside of yourself, in your soul, to feel its warmth and healing, to share in its blessing? Do you want the grace of God to flow through you in powerful, life-changing ways to others? that it may be a blessing not only to you but to them? Do you need today, this morning, to reignite a faith that has become a little bit lackluster, having been marred, having been scarred by the hardship of life? Well, then you have come to the right place. Because here, in this community, you can immerse yourself. And you can immerse yourself in whatever groups and gatherings that you are a part outside of this church. And there, in that gathering, exercise a sense of cooperation. Demonstrate a spirit of sacrifice, of compromise, of patience and forgiveness. Be willing to self-reflect. And be gentle when others share their self-reflection with you. Reach out in those gatherings and connect with others that are facing hard times, to others that are hurting or feel twilight's tide coming in and encroaching over them in their lives. Remember, light can only shine when shared. Light can only shine when we are connected to others. And then exercising their spiritual outlets and traits. Watch. Just watch. As the light of God grows. As it grows within you because you've reached out and shared that light, and grows also in others. That will take work. The work of community is not and will not be easy. But it is from that work that God's light will shine. It is from that work that we will be transfigured and transformed into a more holy and blessed person. It is through that work that our world will be transfigured and transformed into a more holy and blessed